Welcome. Today we're gonna talk about goat versus sheep, 6 key differences explained. Please subscribe for more amazing content. For more information on this in full coverage, check out the link below in the description. From playful and curious goats to cute and cuddly lambs, you could easily be forgiven for mistaking sheep and goats for one another. After all, on the surface they're quite similar, especially when they're seen out in the fields from a distance. But just how alike are they? Well, despite being from the same family group, they're actually very different animals. Sheep and goats have completely different eating habits and different natures, and even different coats. But that's not all, as there's much more to discover about these wonderful animals. Read on as we learn all about the key differences between sheep and goats. Comparing sheep versus goat. Sheep and goats can easily be mistaken for one another at first glance. However, there are several ways that they are different, and a few of them are pretty easy to spot. The 6 key differences between goats and sheep. Goat versus sheep. Coat. One of the most distinctive differences between sheep and goats is their coat type. Most sheep have thick wool coats and need to be sheared every year to prevent them from overheating during the summer months. Goats have hair on their bodies and don't need to be sheared. Goat versus sheep. Tail. An easy way to spot the difference between goats and sheep is to look at their tails. Goats have short tails that are usually pointing upwards unless they are scared or ill. On the contrary, sheep have tails that point downwards. Most sheep are born with long tails that are docked at birth for sanitary reasons and to help prevent a fly strike. Long tails often get covered in feces, which attracts flies. Fly strike is then caused when blowflies lay their eggs on the back of the sheep. The eggs then hatch into maggots, which then feed on the sheep and can prove fatal. However, some sheep breeds have naturally short tails, but even those point downwards. Goat versus sheep. Diet. If you've ever come across goats before, you'll have heard that they have a liking for eating pretty much anything they come across. The reason for that is because they are browsers and roam around nibbling and picking at whatever takes their fancy. Goats prefer to eat leaves, twigs, and shrubs and often stand up on their hind legs to reach the tops of plants. However, coupled with their curious and inquisitive nature, their liking for anything they can get in their mouths often gives them a bad name. On the other hand, sheep are grazers and prefer to eat from near the ground as they graze while they wander around. Sheep usually eat short grasses and clover and largely ignore trees and shrubs. Goat versus sheep. Temperament. Sheep are best known for their relatively aloof and distant behavior and their strong flocking instinct. When they are under threat or weathering a storm, they will naturally flock together into a group and can quickly become distressed when separated from others. Despite their cute and innocent appearance, goats have a knack for finding trouble and a way out. They have an extremely independent and curious nature and often like to go and investigate things. Goats are extremely agile and are well known for their ability to jump or climb things, and it takes good fencing to keep them in. Goat versus sheep. Horns. Most sheep are naturally uppolled, which means they don't have horns. However, of those that do, their horns are usually thick and curl round impressively at the side of their heads. Many goats have horns, and their horns are much narrower and shorter. They also usually point more upwards and back and don't curl round. Goat versus sheep. Glands. Sheep have noticeable tear ducts underneath their eyes and scent glands between the toes on their feet, while goats do not. Instead, goats have a scent gland underneath their tails. This scent gland is what causes male goats to have such a strong and offensive smell during mating season, while male sheep don't smell as much. Are sheep and goats the same size? There can be a vast variety of sizes in both sheep and goats, but generally to look at goats appear to be slimmer than sheep as well as being because of their woolly coats. Sheep process their food differently to goats and so generally put more weight on across their loins and backs than goats do. Sheep don't grow beards, but the majority of goats do. Male goats often have longer and thicker beards than females. Sheep have a lifespan of 10 to 12 years, while the lifespan of goats is a little longer at 15 to 18 years. Do male goats and male sheep fight the same way? No, male sheep, rams, usually back up and then charge to butt heads with a clash. Male goats, Billis, usually rear up on their hind legs and then come down with force to butt heads in a fight. Thank you for checking this video. If you wish to give your opinion, please comment below, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and we will see you next time.